So, you work here at Bolton Deaf Society. But what's your role and how long have you been here?
So, I'm an advocate. I support deaf people in the community here, helping to remove barriers, and I've been here for about 3.5 years now.
So, roughly, how many service users do you see with these issues?
Well, really, our advocacy service supports roughly around 50 clients a month, but about 10 a month are specifically for job related support. I think that a lot of the issues are linked to access to work, barriers to communication, interpreters not being booked for job interviews. That's some of the most challenging stuff we do here.
And what kind of situations do people have difficulties with? Can you give us some examples?
Well, I remember one person who'd got a job interview at McDonald's. They informed them that they needed to book an interpreter, and McDonald's said that was fine, and they had a couple of weeks to organise that. And then on the day they got ready, they went along, sat and waited. Someone approached to start the interview, but no interpreter had arrived, and it was too late to sort out. It was just obviously a mess because they were unable to communicate. So the service user was really upset. They came back and told us what had happened. They should have had the job interview, but no interpreter was booked. So we had to phone McDonald's and say, "What's going on? Please, can you rebook the interview with an interpreter?" And they said they would. But the same thing happened again. So they just felt really let down.
And what are the kind of problems that deaf people suffer with when they try to get a job?
Well, it's usually down to a lack of deaf awareness. And we also provide deaf awareness training to different companies to encourage them with that, to be inclusive spaces for deaf people, to teach them that deaf people can do these jobs. Because really, I think it's about educating people, and people just don't currently have enough awareness. So we're lobbying for that and have been doing for a while. I think for hearing people, the route to getting work is more straightforward. And deaf people have this really long-winded process. Getting the interpreter in place, which of course takes time. Then you've got to prepare to translate and understand the questions. So there's all this extra time that's needed for all that.
So, some of these experiences with access to work are actually linked to misunderstandings, aren't they? People say things like, "Oh, have I got to pay for your interpreter?"
Yep, that's right. We had a perfect example of that. We recently had a client who wanted to be a teaching assistant at a school and a respite support worker supervising the children. So the school were informed about setting up a meeting to do some training and that they'd need to book an interpreter. And they said, "Oh, it's too expensive. We can't afford to do that." But obviously, the candidate needed the support. So then someone explained to them that access to work was there for that. But they didn't know what it was, so someone had to sit and explain to them what access to work is and how it works. But there was a big waiting time to get the support in place. From 8 months to a year and a half waiting time. So we wrote to them and applied for it. Then the deaf person informed us that they'd not had a response a month later. So I phoned them, and they informed us that the wait time was 9 months. So this person has missed opportunities for meetings and training. It's not the school's fault, it's just the backlog with the access to work system. So again, having the technology helps, but we're still having the same old story.